Hi, this is the guide so you can play Total Domain. You know, because it is a strategy game based on complex cards, so I thought it would make it easier if you heard an explanation. First things first, I made this game thinking in the whole set, the 125 cards, so it works better if you play it that way. Now, picture a war. Each player has their own resources, weapons and defenses, and the main goal is to defeat the rest of the players and be the last one standing, or putting it bluntly, gain total domain over the universe. To start, each player must be dealt 12 cards, not because they will use all of them, but simply to make the fairest conditions. That's why players can only take 6 cards from the 12 they were initially dealt, and the first one to do that will be the first one to play. Turn order proceeds clockwise. Once everyone has chosen their play cards, the game begins. In this round, no one can attack. This is another rule to ensure fairness, but you can skip that if you want. Now, the best part. This is the start of a war, and you'll need resources, defenses, and attacks. But be careful, the planning begins from the very moment when you choose your cards. That's why each game has at least 2 tables that describe the abilities of each card. Each object has its own type, and that is the most relevant aspect. That's because the type of the object defines its role in the game. So I'll explain some of their aspects, starting with these characteristics. Each turn has 2 phases. First, the attack phase. In this phase, only attack type cards can be used, and therefore you have the choice of unleashing your attack or wait with patience for the right moment. That is, waiting for the next turn to use your attack cards. Either way, once this part is over, the resources phase starts, in which you can choose to use your resource or defense cards. That way you can upgrade your hand or protect your cards. And if you did choose to attack, then you have to discard every card you used. There are 3 main places from which you can acquire cards: the shop, the draw deck, and the cemetery. The first, the draw deck. This is the easiest. Every turn on your resources phase you get to steal a card. But if you use a star formation nebula type card, you can get 3 cards from the top. Second, the cemetery. On the contrary, this is made up from cards that were eliminated or discarded in the round. If you use Animation Nebula, as if it were a breath of life, you can choose whatever card you like from it. And finally, the shop. It is made up from 9 cards that are placed from the beginning of the round. These cards have a value specified on the table. You can use spiral galaxies to buy them, each worth 200. At the end of each player's turn, the shop's empty spaces must be filled with cards from the draw deck. For finishing the resource phase, you'll have to discard any card you used. There are 3 exceptions to the discard rule, and these are the immortal cards. These have unique object types and each has a different ability. For each use, you'll have to sacrifice 1 life or 1 card. For every attack card, including the immortal cards, you can only attack once in your attack phase. But of course, there is a card that allows you to attack again, and that would be Multiple Galaxies, object type card. Anything that refers to 2 or more galaxies in its object type description, like for example galaxy clusters, has this ability. After finishing the phase, you'll have to discard any non-immortal attack cards you used, including the Multiple Galaxies card. So, you might be asking yourself, how can players be eliminated? There are only 2 ways a player might lose: by losing all his lives or losing all his cards. So, starting off by how lives work. Every player starts with 1 life, but don't worry, if you use Planetary Nebula cards, you can increase this number up to 4. Additionally, leaving an enemy without any lives has some advantages, like the fact that you can take their cards freely. Or, in the case of both players running out of cards, then the one with most lives will win. On the other hand, as you already know, every player starts with 6 cards, and you can get up to 12. From that point on, they can choose to discard their cards to lower their amount. On the other hand, eliminating an enemy by taking all his cards doesn't give you any advantages. But not all cards can attack lives. That is shown with these two icons. Most attack cards can take out lives, but they must take out defenses first. These cards are elliptical galaxies, open clusters, and double clusters, which are in some way the most basic attacks. Nevertheless, the double star as one of the immortals has the special ability to take out lives even if the opponent is protected by Reflection Nebula. On the other side, there are attack cards that can eliminate any type of cards, but cannot take out lives. Then their hits can be blocked by those cards' respective defense. These are Supernova Remnants and Dark Nebulas. And of course, the Lenticular Galaxy, which has the special ability of eliminating any card, even if it's protected. At last, the Red Dwarf is the only attack card that doesn't directly eliminate other cards or lives, but it can nullify the effect of defense cards. Additionally, it's important to have in mind that most cards cannot be used in the same turn they were obtained, because that would mean players could use their resource cards one after the other, infinitely. And of course, I don't want that. So if you see this symbol, you'll know that you'll have to wait a whole round to be able to use that card, even if you get it in an attack, or you get it by using resource cards. In the case of the Irregular Galaxy, it just means if you get attacked just after the turn you got that card, you can still use it. I hope this video helped you understand the game. You can modify the rules if you want. After all, the most important thing is that you learn and have fun. If you have any questions, comment or DM me through Instagram.